Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to make that bang bang call 100%. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders, your weekly dive into all things baseball. This week, we are asking the question: is the home run derby curse striking again? That and our weekly Giants and Blue Jays updates. I'm Almar, joined as always by my co host Armando. Let's talk baseball.
Thanks, Omar. Well, let's go around the bases with this week's update.
Around the bases.
Omar, we'll start with some history being made on Saturday against the Marlins and the Braves game. It will be the first time a woman umpire is featured. She will be ruling the bases. Jan Powell. This is a 40-year-old woman from New Jersey. She's been umpiring in the spring training game, so she's been doing it just in the spring training. But this Saturday becomes a milestone for the not just for women equality, but also for the game of baseball. There's been some pretty good remarks already. Like Dave Roberts has said, this is good for the game. Great job for the Major League Baseball for doing this. What is your thoughts on this milestone?
Huge congratulations to Jen Powell, who just made history as the first woman to umpire regular season MLB game this weekend. This is an incredible moment, like you said, not just for baseball but for women in sports across the board. We always talk about breaking barriers and growing the game, and this is exactly what that looks like. Jen's journey has been years in the making, and to see her behind the umpiring a game, that's powerful. It sends a message to young girls everywhere: there's a place for you in baseball, on the field, in the dugout, behind the plate, wherever you want to be. So yeah, let's celebrate this. It's long overdue, but it's finally here, and it's only the beginning, Armando.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to be negative. Like I agree with you. This is long overdue. This is 10. This comes after 10 years when NFL hired the first female official, and 3 years at the World Cup there was a future women referee at the World Cup soccer, men's soccer. So I don't want to be negative. This is a positive thing, but I'm glad that baseball is doing this.
Yeah, for sure. It's good for baseball. Not only for baseball, like I said, it's good for sports.
Yeah, it's sports in general. So, women in sports, we like to see that happen. So, all right. And the next topic, there is crisis in New York. The Big Apple. Both the teams, the Yankees and the Mets, have been struggling after the trade deadline. Both teams were heavy in the trade deadline, being aggressive, making trades. But since then, um, both have struggled. What is your take on this struggling for both New York teams, and how is the panic meter in New York?
So yeah, both the Mets and the Yankees went after bullpen help at the deadline, Armando. And as honestly, we talked about this, they had to. Neither team has a rotation that can carry them deep into games right now. So shoring up the back end made sense. But I want to zero in on the Yankees here, Armando, because their struggles go way deeper and they started long before the trade deadline. The issue isn't just pitching, it's defense. It is killing this team all over the field. They've been sloppy, but especially up the middle. You've got Volpe at short and Jazz at second. And while they're both athletic, they've been inconsistent. Errors are piling up. And when you give teams extra outs, you're asking for trouble. And that's exactly what's happening here. Innings get extended. Starters like Max Fried gets pushed past their limit, and now we're seeing his ERA creeped up, and the bullpen is coming in with more traffic, more pressure, and They've already blown a ton of saves this season. And I said this on our previous episodes, Armando. The real problem with the Yankees right now, they don't play fundamental baseball. It's the little things: bad base running, poor defensive positioning, no situational awareness. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't execute the basics, you're not winning in October, or maybe you are not winning in September.
Yes, well said, Omar. Tell me how you really feel about the Yankees right now. You're losing all of our Yankees fans right now.
Well,
No, good. Bad
they
publicity is good publicity, right? So,
their fans talk too much. They were leading they were leading the American League East by 8 games, and now they're six and a half back of the Blue Jays. So yeah, I'm mad.
well, no, I agree with you. This struggles have come before the trade deadline, right? Since June 13, the team has gone 18 and 20 a record. That's just not good enough for any team, especially a playoff contender team. They're third spot in their division behind the Jays and the Red Sox, red hot Red Sox. So yes, and obviously since going Aaron Judge hitting the IL list, they went 4-7 in that stretch, and yeah, this is not a good sign right now. There is a good chance that the Yankees might miss the playoffs. There's a lot of teams in contingents, and there's only 3 spots in the wild card. There's now like I think I said that when we're doing our predictions, like unfortunately some teams have to miss the playoffs, right? Like not all of them can make it. But I'll say this about the Yankees: there's a lot of pressure. They made a lot of moves. They spent a lot of money in the offseason, and then at the trade deadline, it Aaron Boone's Boone's seat must be very hot right now because he's a player's coach, and maybe he just there's talks about maybe he's not a that general strict, put on the pressure, just more like, oh, it's a player, he's relaxed. So, but I think if he doesn't get it done in this season, there's gonna be changes coming. But I'll
Yeah,
say this about the Mets. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no. Yeah, no doubt about it. The pressure's on Aaron Boone, but the player still has to play the game, right? And you can add a lot of talents here, and I've heard this a lot of times. Not every player can play in New York, in the Yankee
That
Stadium.
is true.
The pressure is different. So even if you're an all-star, before you came into the Yankees, sometimes they just don't deliver in New York.
And that is true, right? It's not like it's and especially in New York, it's a what have you done for me lately, right? So before the trade deadline, they were facing the Rays, and they went for um they won the series, right? 3 out of 4, but then they lost against the Marlins and the Rangers. That's not really good. They lost the series against the Phillies and the Blue Jays, so that's not cutting it, right? So now they have Houston, so that's a very tough schedule, right? So it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of pressure for them. But I'll say this about New York, the other New York team, the Mets, because they're also struggling. Um, they got swept by Cleveland, and they lost, and they got swept by the Padres, and lost the series against the Giants. But their upcoming schedule again in August, they're facing the Brewers, the Red Hot Brewers, the first 70 win team Brewers, and then they face Seattle, and they face again the Phillies at the end of August. So this is a tough schedule for the Mets, and there's going to be a lot of pressure in New York if things don't get turned around very quick for them. And this is part of the chemistry I was talking about. Sometimes adding players this late in the trade deadline, it interrupts chemistry, right? Like Tyler Rogers said, because they were asking him questions after the game after they lost, and Tyler Rogers he got traded from the Giants to the Mets, and he said like, look, like I'm learning a new catcher, right? Like in the middle, and like this with 48 games in the season, I'm learning a new catcher. Like we're trying to build that chemistry, right? Like I don't have a home, right? So it takes some time to get used to it, and that's what I was talking about last week about the chemistry being interrupted, especially for good teams.
Yeah,
So that makes sense, right?
and you made a good point with chemistry, but these are like I said, these are major league players. If you can't adjust to a new team right
Yeah.
away, and then this game isn't for you, right? But yeah, when you spend $700 million on Juan Soto, it's a play.
Yes.
It's not even a playoff or bust. It's a World Series or bust. So the pressure's on New York Mets too, like you said.
Yeah. So right now, the panic meter in New York in general, it's pretty high right now. So um, yeah. So we'll see what happens in their competitive races.
Yeah,
All right.
don't travel to New York right now. It's not gonna be good.
Well, don't travel to the U.S. period right now so, for other reasons. All right. Let's go to what the next topic. The Boston Red Sox saw enough out of Roman Anthony. They signed him for an 8-year extension worth $130 million. Um, Roman Anthony, he made his pro debut um, June 9th, and in 46 games, the Sox saw enough out of him to make this extension. Omar, give me your breakdown. Is this premature of the Red Sox doing this, or they're following the same footsteps like the Padres and Royals? When you see a young talent, just you sign them up really quick.
Roman Anthony secures the bag, Armando, and honestly, good for him. And big congratulations to the young outfielder. This is a smart move all around. From the Red Sox perspective, this is a job well done. They locked him up early, bought out those arbitration years, and potentially saved themselves a ton of money down the line because let's be real, Armando, with the way free agent contracts are going lately, who knows what they'd have to pay Anthony in just a few years. So this is a kind of move that shows long-term vision. You reward a promising young player early, build trust, and create cost certainty. It's a win for the player and the team. And the Red Sox fans should feel pretty good about this one, Armando.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, I was very critical of the Red Sox, like from the spring training. I've been talking about them. I thought they were giving up they were waving the white flag when they traded Rafi to the Giants, but it looks like they have a young core. They have the foundation going forward. So this is um, this is a smart move. This is the blueprint now, right? To avoid those massive contracts like Soto and Shohei, you sign them long early and you're flexible years to come to add additions, right? So smart move. But 46 games, that's not even the whole rookie season, right? Like you can say like 46 games. Yes, in those 46 games, the Red Sox are in playoff contention now. The whole team is playing better. The pitching staff, the crowd of Fenway is going nuts now because. But he is batting a 283 with 2 home runs and 19 RBIs. That's pretty solid for a rookie. But it's still it's a little premature in my opinion.
It's a bit early. I understand that, but this organization, the Red Sox organization, is smart on the player. Like Rafael Devers, when he signed that contract, it was a team friendly contract compared to the contracts that are getting
Yeah,
signed right now. So that way, when Rafi got traded to the Giants, Giants were willing to take that contract because it wasn't that massive, right? So this one,
yeah,
it's that if he doesn't, if Anthony doesn't perform well at the back end of his contract, they can easily move him, right? But hopefully the Yankees, he's only 21 years old, so give him a
yeah.
break, Armando.
Well, no, this is great. Um, yeah, this is great. Like, obviously, they have a young core foundation around there. It looks like the Boston is back, right? So they're going to be exciting. They're already exciting to watch. So good for Roman. All right, Omar, home run derby. We talked about the changes, players who participate in home run derby. It messes up their swings. They're not the same after the home run derby. It strikes again. James Wood has not looked the same since then. In the last in the last week, in 17 bats appearance, he has 2 hits, and that's that's not good for any club, right? So that's kind of, and he didn't start today against the A's. Probably some well needed rest. But give me your breakdown on what's happening to James Wood.
Here we go again, Armando. The home run derby curse strikes once more. According to Mark Zuckerman of MASN, James Wood was asked about it, and he said, and I quote Armando, "No, I don't really buy that. But look, the stats don't lie. Since July 3rd, this was 4 days ago. The guy is 4 for 40 with just 4 walks and
Wow.
18 strikeouts. That's not a cold streak, Armando. That's a full on slump. And we've talked about this, like you said, so many times on this show. Players gear up for the derby by changing their swing, adjusting their timing, and just to hit moonshots in front of the crowd. It's fun, it's flashy. We love to see it, but when they come back to the real game action, the timing is off, the approach is off, and it takes a lot of time to get the rhythm back. Wood's a great young talent, no question, but this just feels like another chapter in the same story. The derby takes more out of you than people want to admit.
Yeah, I think that what the statistic that stands out to me the most is the strikeout rate. 145 in the season. That's a lot, right? Like it's yes, he does also has 66 walks, but that's way too high for my liking. I personally I prefer if they go back to the original, at least the ones that I grew up, 10 outs, right? Like you don't have to be in the condition or time and get it winded out. Like it's you have ten balls. Let's see how many home runs you can hit with those 10 outs.
Yeah, you got 10 balls, 9 balls, and then the golden ball at the end, right? Which is great.
Yeah,
The
so
golden ball is like $1,000 donated to a charity. We love that. We love that before.
exactly, and there was a low. They were not hitting 30 home runs, 50 home runs, right? And not making the championship and the Derby, right? Like I remember Bonds and McGuire once hit it, and there was like I think it was like the final round was only like 8 home runs between both of them. It's like, right? So, but of course they were not. They understood they were there for the exhibition, not for
Yeah,
trying to
it
see
gets it
how many
gets yeah,
moonshots, right?
it gets really tiring at some point, and we get that they have like a break, like a few seconds break in between that swings, but still it gets really tiring when you swing that a lot of times in that time frame.
Yeah, I think so. I think major leagues should be looking into this because it's not just like the how many swings they're doing at the in the rounds, but like some players are hitting the batting cages like in between when they're especially like if you know you're advancing, you want to stay hot, so they're swinging, and that's just a lot of swings for in one evening.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, so hopefully James Wood can recover from this. He's a young player, but yeah, it looks like the home run derby is like taking another soul.
Yeah. All right, Omar, for the last topic of the evening, we have a career milestone. Shohei Ohtani on Wednesday, he recorded his 1,000 career hit against the Cardinals, and it came in fashion, hitting a home run at home, up middle of the pavilion. It comes for no surprise of his legendary career, Hall of Fame career so far. But give me your breakdown on this milestone.
So at this point, are we even surprised, Armando? I mean, it's Shohei Otani. The guy is truly one of one. Congrats to Shohei on reaching 1,000 career hits, and you already know there's gonna be plenty more by the time it's all said and done. This guy isn't just rewriting the rule book; he's tearing it up and making his own pitching, hitting, base running. He does it all and makes it look effortless. So we're watching a generational talent here. Honestly, a once in a lifetime player, and we should be soaking in every second of it. 1,000 hits is just another milestone on what's shaping up, like you said, to be an all-time great career.
I agree with you, everything you said about Shohei Ohtani. I think what is more impressive, um, it's not just that it's not just that he makes it look so easy. It's everything around. It's like also that day, he also recorded his 500 career strikeout, and he struck out eight batters that same game. So that's alone it's impressive. That's what makes him so special. It's not the 1,000 career hits; it's everything else he's doing at the same time.
Yeah, he struck out eight, but they still lost to the Reds, right?
Oh, yes, it does. Which um, it helps me out. It helps the Giants out. So, well, anyways, that is it for around the bases. Um, if you like this content, please subscribe, like, and follow. It will help our channel grow. Well, Omar, let's get into our Giants and Blue Jays updates.
Giants, Blue Jays.
I'll start it off with the Giants update. The Giants were last week. They were in a 6-game road trip with New York Mets facing the Mets and then Pirates. They won both series, taking 2 out of 3 in both of those series, making it a 4-2 record. I think there's just a lot of frustrations with this team right now. A lot of Giants fans are just not happy the way it's happening. Yes, it keeps the hopes alive that this team can make it, have a chance to make the playoffs, but it's just they look so bad doing it, right? Like I on Monday they lost to the Pirates, 4 consecutive losses to the Pirates. Like I talk about, like the Pirates are one of the worst teams in baseball, and the Giants are struggling against the Pirates. And we haven't in 6 games against the Pirates this season, we have not faced Paul Skeens. That should be saying something. That is just the frustrating part. On Wednesday, they were losing the game, and I was just like, "Come on, come on!" Like I was just so frustrated watching this game. So all around, this is just the same story for 5 out of the last 6 seasons. The Giants have collapsed. Second half of the season, it doesn't matter who's the skipper, Bob Melvin, or Kepler, or who's is Posey or Fahrenheit. This team just seems to collapse in the second half, and I think Giants fans and media are just fed up with this type of team that is just the hopes are there and they just collapse right now. So, anyways, that is my take for this week. Um, I'm not. I'm not sure if they can make the playoffs, to be honest with you. They will have to make a run. 12, win 12 out of 13 games or 13 out of 15 games. They have to go on a stretch in order to compete in the wild card races. Right now, the way they're playing, it's not it doesn't seem possible they can do that. Yes, there's the teams are starting to heat up. They're starting to play better, but still, it's just the way that they're doing it. It's just not really that impressive.
Yeah, I get your frustration there, Armando. With your San Francisco Giants. You mean you have your San Diego Padres still ahead of you, but your interdivision would be okay because you still have to play against them. But the thing is, you have to leapfrog either the New York Mets or the Philadelphia Phillies, whichever does not get the National League East title there. But yeah, it's still doable. 3.5 games, 3.5. Oh no, right now, yeah,
6 games,
5 games. Yeah, five
five and a
games
half.
out of
Yeah,
the wild card. Yeah, I was looking at Cincinnati Reds. I'm
the
sorry,
wild card spot.
but yeah,
No,
you've fallen because of that Pirates series. But you're gonna be playing Washington, Washington this weekend. So hopefully you'll be able to like rack up some wins, right?
I think the last month, I think the last four recorded episodes that we have done, I keep saying this is a big weekend series, and they just come up flat, right? So I think it is a big upcoming series, right? They have to beat the teams, but on Monday they start a three-game series against the Padres. This is what they've been aiming up for. Like we'll face the Pirates, we'll climb slowly, but we have to see a better product out on the field to believe that, right? So it's just a lot of frustration. So and everybody's pointing fingers is about Bob Melvin. I keep talking about him, right? Every episode now. Like, is he the right coach for this team, right? I like him personally, but like, his decisions are being questioned a lot, and this is the first year of Posey's tenure, right? So it's kind of like what's going on here. But I think over the big picture is this is the same story in the last 6 out of the last 5 seasons. This is I mean, 5 of the last 6 seasons. It's been the same story. It just they collapse at the second half of
Yeah,
the
and
season.
that's unfortunate because you have the lineup to make noise in the playoffs. So once you get in there, you have like the starting rotation, and you have great defense actually. But yeah, it's frustrating to collapse this way year after
For
year.
sure, right? So, and I think last year I was saying, like, is it too late? I think the Giants made a run at the end of the season, but it came a little too late. So it kind of seems like even if they get hot for a week or two, it's going to be the same story a little too late. They they fall apart in July and August, like once again, right? So it hasn't been good. By the ways, there is even when you thought that things were so some players came back. Encarnacion came back from his 60-day uh, IL sting, and also Christian Koss came back from his injury. So like and they were a huge jump this week with those two players coming back. Uh, Encarnacion hit two homer back-to-back games on Tuesday and Wednesday, and one of them was a 446 feet home run to dead center in Pittsburgh. That's a massive stadium. So that was a big boy homer. But the sad thing, even the little jump, the spark that those two players created, it came at a price because Encarnacion pulled his hamstring, and it's not looking good. He's gonna hit the IL again with the hamstring injury. So I talk about it in the spring training, like the Giants were counting him a lot for the season to be the offense, the power hitter, and he just can't catch a break. So kind of sucks because we saw that little spark, two home runs in the last uh, since he got back from the IL injury list. So it's a little sad. So hopefully it's an injury, right? So it's a hamstring. It can linger for the rest of the season. So we'll see if they, with 46 games left, we'll see if they shut him down or he can come back within a 2 to 4 weeks. So really
Yeah, it's
bad
really
luck.
bad luck because he, like you said, he just came back from a long injury. He was out for a long time, and then he just came back, and then his hammy gave up, and that's unfortunate
Yeah.
because hamstring can linger, like you said, it can linger around. So you don't want to mess with it if your Giants is not playing for anything. I don't think it's a good idea for Encarnacion to even come back.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Hopefully, they landed in San Francisco yesterday, or first early in the morning. So it could be he was gonna get an MRI today. So we'll see what the test results. But hopefully he come back because this team was on paper the way this team was created. Like this was supposed to be a big jump. And don't get me wrong, the team are individually they're starting to get like play better. They're starting to come out, but collectively they're just struggling as a team. So I think that's the frustrating part. But it was an exciting couple of those games. The blowout games were really nice because they were hitting they were hitting a lot of home runs. So it's something that Giants have not done like since May, right? So they had the three homers in one game or four homers in one game. So that's they haven't seen that since May. So that was pretty impressive. Fun to see as fans, right? Because we like to see. So, anyways, I'll end it on a happy note. Logan Webb, we're talking about milestones today. He hit his 1,000 innings pitch with the Giants, all with the Giants. He joins a um, very impressive list in Giants history with Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry, um, some old timers, Ed Hockling, but and also Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, Madison Bargarner. So he joins a very prestigious list in Giants history. And what's more impressive is that Logan Webb, he's a Northern California person. He's a homegrown talent. He was drafted out of high school, and he's our player, right? He represents California, the Giants. That's what he embodies, and for him to hit this milestone, it means a lot for
Yeah,
Giants fans, for
yeah,
Logan Webb.
congratulations to Logan Webb for that 1,000 innings pitch. And I always tell you this. I envy your Giants. Where do you get these pitchers? Like you always have like a pipeline of great, not good, great pitchers. So props to the Giants, and again, congratulations to Logan Webb.
Yeah. So and also he did it in fashion too. Like he he recorded his sixth career outings with 10 plus strikeouts and no walks. That's a pretty impressive. Only one player has more in the last 125 season, and that's Madison Barton, and there were 12 games with 10 plus 10 plus strikeouts and no walks. So that's pretty impressive. And also, he hit his fifth consecutive 10 win season, joining the same thing. My boy, Jason Schmidt, Tim Lincecum, Matt Kim, Madison Wagner, and Gabriel Perry have consecutive 10 win plus season. So pretty impressive. So I think that was the highlight of the week. It brought a lot of joy as
Yeah,
Giants fans.
at least it gives I think to celebrate for San Francisco, right? When things not going well, right?
Yeah, well, he's kind of reminded me because when Tim Lincecum won his second Cy Young award, he was 15 and 15, so or 12 and 12. Like he didn't have the wins to be considered like a Cy Young award, but he had the innings, he had the strikeouts. Tim Lincecum did, and right now he's 10 and 8. in the season. But he's kind of remind me he's out there in innings pitch against strikeouts. He's one of the top three in those two categories. So we'll see if he gets any consideration for a Cy
Yeah,
Young award.
like wins now, win loss is not a sticky stats now. Yeah, so
No,
if you
it's not.
still have that ERA below below 3, maybe around 2, maybe less than that, then and with a massive amount of strikeouts, you'll get considerable notes there with the votes for the Cy Young.
Perfect. Yeah. Anyway, that is it for the Giants
Well,
updates.
thank you for that Giants update and cheer up, Armando. Cheer up a bit, because it's not, it's not,
The Jays updates are
it's
coming.
not fun when you're down, right? So, but yeah, thanks for that Giants update. And all right, Jays fans, welcome back to your Blue Jays weekly update. Let's not sugarcoat it, Armando. The weekend series against the Royals, yeah, that was rough. Without Alejandro Kirk and George Springer in the lineup, the bats went silent. The Jays dropped 2 of 3 and just couldn't get anything going. A real dud of a series. But the silver lining here, the baseball gods delivered a gift in the form of a trip to Coors Field, and the Jays took full advantage of it. Against the Rockies, Toronto exploded for a franchise record 45 runs over 3 games. That's right, 45 runs. The Bats came alive in a big way, and it couldn't have come at a better time. This offensive outburst gives the Jays a serious shot of confidence heading into a heavyweight clash with the Dodgers in LA. So let's talk pitching matchup for that weekend, because
Ooh.
this series is stacked. So Friday night, it's a duel of future Hall of Famers Max Scherzer versus Clayton Kershaw. You just don't want to miss that. I know I am not. And come Saturday, it's Chris Bassett against Blake Snell, your boy. Your your old boy Blake Snell, and and then on Sunday it'll be Eric Lauer squaring off against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So this series has all the makings of a slugfest, or as I like to call it, a good old baseball bloodbath. So it's going to be a huge test for the Jays. Now, before we wrap things up here with my Jays update, Shane Bieber looked solid in his rehab outing last Sunday in Buffalo. So the plan here is to give him 2 more starts to stretch him out. And hey, if Bieber, like I mentioned this when they acquired him in the trade deadline, if Bieber can return anywhere close into his Cy Young form, that could be massive boost down the stretch and into October for the Blue Jays. But on the flip side, some not so great news regarding George Springer. He hasn't appeared in any minor league games yet after taking a pitch to the head during the Orioles series. The Jays are playing it safe with George, and rightfully so. But fingers crossed, we see George back soon. He was really starting to be a force in the lineup. Some mixed bags on the injury front, but the Jays and the Dodgers series, weekend series, will be a great show. So and that's it for my week's update on the Jays.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Yeah, it's gonna be a good series against the Dodgers, right? So you want to measure up against the other league, right? So it's best against the best, right? So that's pretty impressive. I want to go back to the Rocket series, man. That's not just the most score runs in a 3 game series, but the most hits in a 3 game series, right? So I think in one game they had 20 hits, 17 in another one. Like it was pretty impressive to see that. Yeah, I think it's the most hits in like 125 years or something like that. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah, at first I thought I was kind of like seeing uh, like a baseball game or something. I was watching like, oh, I mean like a PlayStation game, right? So like, oh, that number looks a little weird, but I was like, holy cow, 20 runs, 20 hits or something like that. Was
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
like you said, it hasn't been done since 1900 or so. Don't quote me on that. I heard that on the sports. Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
I
that
heard
on
it too. Yeah.
Sportsnet too. But like you said, people are mentioning, yeah, it's the Rockies, but Rockies were playing good on against other teams on their home ballpark. Remember the Pirates were dismantling them, and they came back to win that game. So even if it's the Rockies, they won two consecutive series in their ballpark. So what the Jays did in Coors Field was short of amazing, right?
Oh man, that's just haters saying that. Like, yeah, yeah, it's the Rockies, but it doesn't mean anything. You still have to put the ball in place. You still have to hit a home run, right? Even it's a higher elevation, right? Like, there's more pop ups in Coors Field because of like people are trying to hit moonshots, right? So it
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything.
I just do,
And so people are
yeah,
just being
I
negative.
just as Jays fans, we just don't get the hate on the Blue Jays and the disrespect on the Jays. They it's not like this. They don't have the players to compete, but then again,
Exactly. Yeah.
they always do this. April, May, they don't do well, and then come summer, they like keep winning, and now it's coming into fruition with the Jays, and everything's clicking. Well, not lately, but still, they like we mentioned a week ago or so, that you have to keep winning so that you stretch out that gap between you and the other teams, and they're actually leading the American League East by 4 games ahead of Boston Red Sox, and they're actually the best record in American League right now, ahead of the Detroit Tigers and Houston Astros. And like I said, I don't get the disrespect right now.
Well, it's just East Coast bias, right? So,
Or
but
the New
anyways,
York bias.
put some New York bias, right? Well, put some respect on the Blue Jays
Yeah,
name.
and hopefully it continues, it has been a long time since the Jays went to the playoffs and won an actual playoff series. It was like back in 2016 when they won a playoff series. So they haven't won a playoff series with Vlad and Bo, so it's time for them to make their mark in the playoffs.
Well, that's awesome. That makes me excited for Blatting um, and Bo to have their first playoff
Yeah,
wins.
we want that
But anyways, we'll be talking about the
we
playoffs.
want that playoff bye.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that is there for the Giants and Blue Jays updates. Well, thanks, Omar.
Yeah, again, that's it for the Giants and Blue Jays update, like our brother said. And that's a wrap for this week, but don't go too far. Next week's episode, we are bringing back our over and under. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified when we have our next episode. Again, thanks so much for watching and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week on Saturday Sliders.